Hey, how's it going? I want to make the perfect bacon sandwich for my breakfast, and it all starts with a load of bacon that I actually started making a week or so ago by getting my hands on a really good pork belly and vac packing it down with normal salt and nitrite salt to stabilise the bacon's pink colour by binding myoglobin and sugar for sweetness. I then left it in my fridge to cure for about a week. As the bacon cures, the salts and sugars draw moisture out of the meat before really slowly diffusing back in, lowering the water activity, giving the bacon this firm kind of fudgy texture. I then debagged the bacon and left it uncovered in the fridge for a night just to form a sticky surface so that when I popped it into my cold smoker, the smoke had something to stick to. I then couldn't quite justify buying a meat slicer, so I headed over to one of my favourite restaurants called Half Cut Market to use their meat slicer, giving us these gorgeous silky strips, fatty bacon. Now I'm just going to crisp these up under a grill. It's now time to talk bread, and I engineered this bread specifically for the application of a bacon sandwich. It starts with a big batch of Tanzog. This is where we cook flour with milk to gelatinise the starches in the flour, allowing them to bind significantly more water, giving the bread a dense but soft crumb, which is exactly what bacon needs. I then added strong flour for structure, rye flour for a toasty flavour I knew would bounce off the bacon well, salt, a bit of MSG because I know that when I want a bacon sandwich, I want it to be super safe, and some caster sugar to balance everything out to give us a gorgeous coloured crust, and yeast to give us rise. I then kneaded everything together with whole milk, gave it a rest, kneaded again. I kneaded through salted butter to soften the crumb a bit, and pork fat to do the same job, but to just amp up the flakiness of the crust and the flavour of the bread. I then proved the dough overnight to develop as much flavour as possible and rolled it out with a rolling pin to knock out any big bubbles of air. I then proved it again and baked it until the loaf was golden. I'll put the full recipe, tips, tricks and method for this in next week's newsletter. I'm just going to lubricate that bread with some smoked butter I made yesterday by taking butter and just getting it into the cold smoker alongside the bacon, so all of those fat soluble compounds in the smoke can mix with the butter, giving us the perfect spread. So our bacon is now ready, smelling great and looking ridiculously crisp. And cut it in half. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, we'll grab a plate, stick on our bacon sandwich. Made some really good ketchup a couple of days ago by sweating down shallots and garlic with a load of celery salt. Then added tomato puree, cooked that out. Loads of chopped ripe tomatoes, sugar, vinegar, Worcester sauce, then a mixture of English mustard powder and xanthan garlic. Explain in my newsletter why this is important. There is something so uniquely blunt about a bacon sandwich. It's salt, it's starch, it should be smoked, it's crunch, it's soft, and when it all gets a bit too much, you've got fruity, sweet, acidic ketchup to cut through it all. There's been so much chat online recently about people making their lives more efficient and optimizing things. And one of the reasons I love this bacon sandwich specifically is that it's so inefficient. It feels like a simple, delicious protest. I'll put all these recipes in next week's newsletter. Over and out.